Downshifting is pretty much like upshifting. It's just a matter of taking your time, doing it slowly, and practice, practice, practice. And it'll come to you, and then it's just like riding a bike. After that, you'll never forget. It's just a matter of using the clutch in conjunction with the gear shift and getting the feel of it. And if you just put light resistance on the stick, you'll feel when it wants to slide into the gear. And other than that, it's just a matter of doing it. I find when I'm downshifting that I always use the clutch. I just find it's easier to hit your shift every time. Now they all shift differently. This is a big Caterpillar, this truck, and it likes to shift really low. So I throw it out about 900, bring the revs up to about 12, double clutch and slide it in. And this motor likes that. So there again, I'm down to about 9. I rev it to about 12, and I just use finger pressure on the gear shift. You don't have to force it. You'll feel it want to go in when it hits the right spot. So just lug it right down, pull it out, give it some revs to 12, shift it back in. And that's all there is to it. As I say, I always use the clutch, and that just hits the shift every time. You'll find when the transmission's cold that it's a little less cooperative than when it's warmed up. But and you know, some guys can shift it without the clutch, downshift it without the clutch, but I never saw the advantage in it. You can do it, but it's a lot of fooling around with pressure on the fuel and everything like that. It's just easier for you, and it's easier on the truck if you just use the clutch when you downshift every time. And that way, whether the jig's engaged or whether it's not, you're going to hit the shift every time. And a lot of times when you're downshifting, you're using it for braking. So that's not when you want to miss a shift, is when you're trying to slow down. So that's the best formula I've found anyway. So again, I like to lug it right down, and that way you know the shift's going to go in. And it has the same braking power at lower RPMs. And that way you're slowing down gradually too, and you're using the gears and the jake and the engine to slow the truck down. I haven't touched my brakes at all, and generally I don't until I'm pretty much at the stop sign. And the truck, that saves wear and tear on your equipment. Downshifting is a little bit harder than upshifting because it's a little bit harder to get the feel of it in the gears. And it's always a good idea too, when you're learning to downshift, probably not to use the jake initially. Not that it'll make a difference if you're using the clutch, but it might be just enough to throw the sensation off for you. It shouldn't matter, but try it both ways. The secret again to downshifting, one of the secrets, is not to be in a rush, not to be in a hurry, not to put yourself in the position where you need to drop 5 gears because you haven't left enough room out in front of you to allow yourself the time. Good downshifting starts far, far back from where you intend to finally stop. Give yourself lots of room out front when you start downshifting, so that the room isn't an issue, the time isn't an issue. You've got time to work your way through the gears, slow it down. It's easier on the truck. You won't have to use the brake. If you find you're using the foot brake in conjunction with your downshifting, it'll throw the timing of your downshifting off sometimes. So give yourself lots of room, lots of time. Take your time, take it easy, do it slowly and methodically, and give yourself all sorts of room to do it in. For the new drivers, downshifting is a little bit harder than upshifting, but it's just a matter of doing it. It's just a matter of practice. You'll get it.